We're going to begin in New York, a historic day in a courtroom here, opening statements in the first ever criminal trial of a former president of these United States. Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, will spend much of the next few weeks in court hearing the evidence against him. He says the so-called hush money trial is you've heard this term before from him, witch hunt. Robert Costa is at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan covering all of it. Bob, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tony. Today, there are major frustrations in Trump's inner circle about jury selection, about how this jury ended up being the one, and fears that it could convict former President Donald Trump. But today, the prosecution plows ahead, about to call its first witness.
History is unfolding in Lower Manhattan as prosecutors begin laying out the case against former President Trump this morning. The jury, made up of 7 men and 5 women plus 6 alternates, took just a week to seat.
The judge wants us to go as fast as possible. That's for his reasons, not for my reasons.
Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. He's accused of using his former lawyer Michael Cohen to funnel payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Prosecutors say it was an effort to stop the alleged affair from becoming a scandal just before the 2016 election. Trump denies any wrongdoing and has said he's willing to take the stand.
Yeah, I would testify, absolutely.
The prosecution's witness list includes not only Cohen and Daniels, but also former Trump aide Hope Hicks and former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker, who is expected to be called first to testify about the alleged catch-and-kill scheme to purchase and prevent the circulation of negative Trump stories. This trial has kept Trump largely sidelined from campaigning during most of the week, and severe weather kept him from returning to the trail this weekend in North Carolina. He called in to let supporters know about the last-minute cancellation.
We'll make up for this very quickly at another time.
Trump allies say he is determined to keep making campaign stops on weekends and in New York City like he did last week.
It makes me campaign locally, and that's okay.
David Pecker is expected to be the first witness called by the prosecution, but his name wasn't known until late by Trump's legal team because the prosecution feared Trump would somehow go off about the person named on social media. So you can expect Trump's legal team to now push for a delay in the questioning, but the judge so far has dismissed such request. Gayle?
Bob, why in the world would they think he'd go off on social media? I don't understand that. Thank you so much. See,
I don't know, Gayle. He's such a quiet guy.
Exactly right. CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman is with us now at the table. Ricky, good morning. Good to see you. Here we go. You know, you're the perfect person to have here today because you've been called the queen of opening statements. Why are they so significant? I once read that many jurors make their decisions based on opening statements. I thought, how can that be true before they hear the evidence?
80%.
80%
of jurors' minds are made up at the end of opening statements, according to many a study, and there's a reason for that. If you hear a persuasive story, and then you hear another persuasive story, you make a decision, just as how your mind works, as to which one you believe. And if you get invested in that belief, like that's your belief, it takes a lot to knock you off that investment.
So it carries you through the trial.
Absolutely.
So what do you think each side is going to say in their opening statements?
Well, this is their most important day besides jury selection. The prosecution is going to say exactly what it gave us a year ago in his statement of facts. They're going to talk about a case that they don't want to call the hush money case. They really want to look at it as an election interference case. And they're going to get a bit of help from the judge because that's how he defines it. What the prosecution is going to tell is a story of a scheme that the allegations say Donald Trump, Michael Cohen, David Pecker, the person who runs or ran the National Enquirer, got together and agreed or conspired to catch stories that were bad about Donald Trump and then bury them. So one story that David Pecker didn't want to pay for because the money was too much is a story from a woman named Stormy Daniels, who was a porn star who claimed to have had a one-night stand with Donald Trump.
Which he denies.
Which he denies. And Michael Cohen paid her off. So what is this case about? This case is about falsification of business records in the year 2017, after he is elected, to then pay Michael Cohen back for giving the money to hush up Stormy Daniels.
But election interference because it would deny the American people in 2016 the ability to get all the information about their candidate.
Precisely, right on top of the Access Hollywood tape.
That's good to tie that together. But, you know, in the court of public opinion, most people think, who cares? These are insignificant charges. Even if he's convicted, I'm still going to vote for him. I've heard many people say this. In the court of law, is this a significant case?
In the court of law, it's a very significant case.
Because?
It's a big case for the prosecution because you have 34 counts that are felonies. This is not a misdemeanor case. It's bumped up because of the election violation, according to the prosecution. Defense says, no way. Donald Trump was working with Michael Cohen. The whole Trump family worked with Michael Cohen in 2017. These are legal fees, and they're paid for the right way. And that Donald Trump really didn't have anything to do with this hush money payment.
Donald Trump said he'll testify real quick.
Yes.
Do you think he will? Yes or no?
No, I don't.
All right. Ricky Kleeman, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ricky.
All right. President Biden is urging the Senate to move quickly to approve the foreign aid legislation that finally passed the House over the weekend. The bills provide $95 billion to Ukraine, Israel, and America's allies in the Pacific. Scott McFarland is at Capitol Hill. Scott, good morning.
Nate, good morning to you. The U.S. House Speaker put his job on the line to win support for this Ukraine and foreign aid package while risking a revolt inside his own party.
With Ukraine running short on money and munitions.
On this vote, the ayes are 311 and the nays are 112. The bill is passed.
The U.S. House approved nearly $61 billion to help the country in its third year fighting back the Russian invasion. The Senate is expected to follow suit when it returns tomorrow.
The Ukrainians' morale has been great, but it's been undermined over the last couple of months when they have been literally given out rationed bullets.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked the House for overcoming its gridlock.
This is the show of leadership and strength of the United States.
Also included in the foreign aid passed was more than $26 billion for Israel and $8 billion for Taiwan and Indo-Pacific security. Speaker Mike Johnson, who'd been criticized for slow-walking an aid package, successfully championed the bills this weekend, which won bipartisan support.
I've done here what I believe to be the right thing, and that is to allow the House to work its will.
Winning praise from Democrats.
Traditional conservatives, led by Speaker Mike Johnson, have risen to the occasion.
But a few hardline Republicans are continuing their threats to oust Johnson after he defied their warnings this weekend about moving forward with the legislation.
Mike Johnson's speakership is over. He needs to do the right thing to resign and allow us to move forward in a controlled process. If he doesn't do so, he will be vacated.
Congresswoman Green and her colleagues who've been threatening to remove Johnson haven't said when they'll call for a vote. As for Johnson, he cites the intelligence briefings he's received and his own son's enrollment in the Naval Academy as his reasons for backing the Ukraine aid. Nate?
Scott, these foreign aid bills also impact TikTok users here in the U.S. What more can you tell us about that?
Big proposal. It would require TikTok to be sold or divested from its China-based owner or face a ban in the United States within a year. It has huge bipartisan support, but now that it's part of this foreign aid bill, it could move more quickly than the similar bill passed in March. And TikTok has said this is an infringement on their First Amendment rights, and they oppose it, Nate.
Scott, on top of it as usual. Thank you.